Hey, what's up? It's Meezy, and today I'm standing up because I don't know, I'm trying something new. Anyways, today's video is, it's kind of like we're progressing, right? I've been talking a lot about, interviews and resumes and stuff like that. So today I want to move us to the space of, we got the job, this is happening, and now we're prepping, or, whatever. So today's video is all about or my advice to new coders, new software engineers, new people in tech. Just my advice, things I wish I would have known when I first started out. Alright, so of course, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and go ahead and share the video to, send it to your friend, because the title itself is just so fulfilling that it's going to be a bomb video. But let's just dive in because my camera is on 27%. So the first piece of advice I have is to ask questions. When I first started working, I made a lot of assumptions about what people would design or how things worked, and it would take me a really long time to figure something out. If I would have just asked a question, even a question that I thought the answer was obvious to, it would have saved me a lot of time and I wouldn't have to have redid so much work. So let's say that you work at a place and y'all's brand colors, or y'all's brand kit says that a button is always red, and then you get a design and they make the button purple, and in your mind you're like, should that button be red? Yeah, it should definitely be red. I'll just make it red. And then once you present what you've done, they're like, why'd you make that button red? In the design it was purple. If you would have just asked are we sure we want that button to be purple, y'all could have had a discussion about it in that moment, instead of you just assuming that it was supposed to be red because it's always red. And you could have saved yourself some time. Now you gotta go back and redo the button. So just make sure that you ask questions to get rid of any ambiguity. And sometimes, especially ask those obvious questions, but then sometimes the questions that you think are obvious will breed more questions that the person who is telling you what to do hasn't even thought about, and y'all can have a discussion about that, and you can make the product even better, be even more helpful, make more money, and get promoted. You know the deal. Okay, so the next step is, or the next piece of advice I have, is to get to know your team and let your team get to know you. So I know that as a Black person, I feel like we don't really do this a lot. We go to work and we go home. It's never like, oh, let's make friends at work, or let's socialize people I work with. That's not something that I feel like we do in general. And so I have seen that in most cases, a lot of people around me always really want to know, they're like, oh, how was your weekend? What did you do this weekend? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? And it's just like, do you actually care? Or are you just making small talk with me? But I found that the more that I've opened up to my team and the more that I've just talked about the stuff that I do, I've had a much better time, and it's actually made working with people much easier. And it also is a big thing for networking, because if you make it a point to talk to people just because you literally want to get to know more about them, networking becomes easier, because it doesn't feel like, oh, they know I'm just talking to them just because I want a job or I want to interview them. It just becomes more fluid and I guess more genuine in general when you just start talking to people all the time, and it will also give you some insight on their life, and it will probably make it easier to work with them, and you'll understand better how their mind works, and there will just be more harmony and more fluidity, less friction is what I'm trying to say when y'all are working on projects. Alright, next piece of advice is that if you have downtime at work, use it to either learn more about your code base, if you are newer, or if you have been at the place for a long time, use that time to research stuff that you've been interested in, that can be technical wise, or let's say you wanted to move up, or you wanted to take a course and now you finally have some time to do that. Just use it to develop yourself. It's way more fulfilling to do this on company time than to try to do it when you get home, mostly because you're probably going to be very tired by the time you get home and just want to veg out and watch TV or something. But if you have that time at work, let's say y'all are between projects and you're waiting to ramp up again, you can really use this time to further yourself and once again push yourself further and hopefully get promotions and bonuses and help out the team build better products. So yeah, I used to, at my first job, I would just like goof around or like get on my phone and just be tweeting or something. I could have used that time to do something way better and make myself a better engineer. And especially playing around with the code base when you're new is very important. It will help build your confidence, but then you'll also know how things work and be able to ask better questions when y'all are, you know, building out those projects. So yes, use your time wisely, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, so the next thing is to schedule one-on-ones with your managers, which will probably be a given, but also to schedule it with the people that are above your managers. So your skip, as a lot of people call it, they might be like the director or the general manager, or there's different titles for it at every company. But just like those people that are a level higher than you and your manager, try to get FaceTime with them. One, just to get FaceTime so that they remember that you exist, because they will also have input on those promotions and bonuses and stuff like that. But also so that they know that you're a part of the team and you're enjoying being here. You can use the time to find out more about their career and how they got to the level that they're at. You can use the time to voice your opinions on the team, maybe bring new ideas that you have had about like projects that y'all can do, or like things that can just better y'all as a team. Maybe it's not, you know, a technical feature, but it's something like, hey, I learned about this new software flow. What am I thinking of? Like Scrum. This new workflow that I think would be really helpful to our team because of the kind of work that we do and blah blah blah. So yeah, you can use it for stuff like that. Just make sure that you actually have something to talk about. Don't just schedule a meeting with this person who is probably super busy and always in a meeting, and then just go and be like, so what's your favorite color? Just make sure that you have something to talk about, and make sure that you have these meetings, because in the long run, it's really going to be important that you get FaceTime with everybody. And it kind of goes along the lines of getting to know people and stuff like that. So yes, schedule those meetings with not only your manager, which should just be default, but also those people above your manager. Oh, and you don't really need to do those like every week how you would with a manager. You probably just want to do them like maybe once a month or every other month, just because you probably won't have too much to talk about with that person. But you know, just a nice check-in is always good. All right, the next piece of advice is to learn about the opportunities at your company and how you can take advantage of them. So if you have been wanting to take a course or go to a conference or anything like that, definitely check out and ask somebody that you know, or you can even check out your company's home page on the internet and see, you know, what's going on in the company this month. It might be something small, like they are having a event where some cool chef is coming in, is gonna show y'all how to cook some broccoli really well, or it could be something that you're really into, like, oh, here's a machine learning expert that's coming to talk about, you know, how to get into machine learning and how to jetpack. I don't know why I can't remember words today. How to streamline your career into machine learning. I don't know. Basically how to get into it. Just any kind of opportunities. Companies love to develop the people that work for them, so make sure you know everything that's going on and stay in the know. Keep up with those emails that are those mass emails that you might automatically delete. Read those, because it might benefit you. It might have something that you've been interested in for a long time and the company is like paying for everybody to learn about it. Or, you know, it might just be a cool little contest and you can win an Amazon gift card. So yeah, make sure you are in the know of all the opportunities afforded to you and that you take advantage of the ones that interest you. All right, the next piece of advice is to ask about salaries, bonuses, promotions, etc. very early on. For promotions, I would say probably about 3 months in, whether that's a new job or a new team. I think that's a pretty good time to start asking. But I would say that like day one, week one, very early on is when you should even be asking, like, what does it take to get promoted, if you do care about moving up. That way you know what you're working towards, and definitely ask about like the goals that they have set for you and all that kind of stuff, because all of that is going to play into the promotion, and it's really hard to know what you need to do if you have no idea. Like if the only thing you have in your mind is that you want to get promoted, that's very broad, right? That could pertain to anything, and they'll probably be looking at some very specific stuff that you can like zero in on and make sure that you are hitting those marks. That way you know you'll get promoted, versus trying to cover everything and just hoping that it's all enough to get promoted. Other stuff you might want to know is like, can you negotiate your promotion? So can you negotiate the bonus that comes along with it? Can you negotiate the raise that comes along with it? Stuff like that. So just ask questions about that early. It can be a little awkward, but most people don't mind answering, and they shouldn't mind in general, especially because you're just asking for information. It's not like you are like pushing them to promote you at that very minute. And then when it comes to getting promoted, I would say ask about that once a month. Like ask for feedback, ask about how you're doing, ask about what you can do better to make sure that it happens. And I say all that from experience, because in my first year, I didn't ask about it a lot because I was like, oh, I'm just doing my work. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm definitely going to get promoted. And I did not get promoted. So if I would have brought it up more, I would have known what I needed to do. And you know, those specific things that they wanted me to hit on, and I probably would have gotten promoted. So yeah, don't be like me, just ask, no matter how awkward it feels. Maybe you have to send an email, whatever it takes to make sure that you move up in the ranks and keep getting that money. All right, so my next piece of advice is to speak up in meetings and things like that, about your ideas, or you know, give your opinions when people ask like, what does the team think about this? It can be kind of intimidating, especially if you are the new person or the youngest person, or maybe you're the only girl, or maybe you're the only black person, maybe you're all of those things. It can be kind of intimidating to give your opinion on things, because you don't have as much experience as everybody that you're talking to, but the experience that you have is still valuable to the team. Now if you definitely don't have anything, I think that's when I would resort to asking questions, because you don't know, and it's an opportunity to learn. And so you could ask questions that might spark more discussion about the project or the architecture that y'all are working on. But if you have an idea, just say it, even if it does sound obvious or seems really minuscule. Like, just still bring it up, one, so that they know that you're thinking and you're not just like sitting there mooching off everybody else, but two, it just really might, you know, be something that's really important to the team. You don't know until you say it out loud. So make sure that you say it out loud. And then again, it can be very intimidating, but I mean, nobody, if you say something like, oh yeah, we should make the background red, people will be like, oh yeah, okay. They're not gonna be like, are you dumb? Why would you say that? Of course it's gonna be red. Like, they might not be super excited about it, but they're definitely not gonna be extremely rude about it. And if they are, that's a red flag and you need to leave. So yeah, speak up about your ideas. They matter and everybody wants to hear them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be bringing things to the team and asking what the team thinks about XYZ. And the last piece of advice I have is, actually it's not the last thing. Second to last thing is, don't take yourself too seriously. You just make computers go beep boop for a living. It's not that big of a deal. Like, yes, you can make some really cool stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just, you know, beep boop and a few flashes. So don't forget to have fun. Don't forget to take your days off. Don't forget to stay home if you are sick. Don't forget to leave on time, and just make sure that you are enjoying the work as much as you can. And remember that you are still a person at the end of the day, which kind of puts me into my last point, which is to get a hobby that is outside of technology. There is more to the world than making computers go beep boop. Go outside, get a pair of roller skates, learn to paint. I mean, there's just so many things that you can do, and kind of that creative energy can sometimes fuel your like technological brain, or like, you know, it's just a good break to not stare at screens all day. Or even if your other hobby is having to do with screens, then it's just nice to move your mind just to a whole different space versus, you know, just always coding all the time. Alright, so that is all my advice for all you new coders out there, or new software engineers, new people in tech, or people who have just started new jobs, or just, you know, my mid-level engineers. It's for all of us. This is for everybody. I hope it was helpful. Let me know down in the comments if you have any more advice. Leave comments. Leave any more advice in the comments. I think that it's time for me to stop talking because it's getting hard for me to form a sentence. So I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.